Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about noticing synchronicities and just the little thread that connects us all in life. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I've been just being more intentional about noticing when things line up, or if I'm thinking about a certain subject or a book or a topic and then somebody mentions it later on, or somebody mentions it in conversation, or I see or hear about it somewhere. I just want to become more aware of that, because I feel like when you are changing, you're going through your personal development journey, you're trying or becoming more so the person that you know that you can be. Sometimes it can get discouraging. Sometimes we're so attuned to a certain frequency or a certain way of thinking, or just being a certain way, that we don't notice the changes that are happening. And so for the past, I would say, week, I've been really intentional, just about wanting to connect with others, and again, just wanting to notice when I guess things start aligning. And it's been really cool, and I feel like I'm opening up more to the world, and I'm starting to reassure myself and trust myself more, because it's okay, I was just reading this book, and then somebody mentions they're for example, I was watching a YouTube video, and I've been thinking about Untethered Soul. I've been reading it, I've been going back to it, and then I watched a random creator's YouTube video, and they're literally reading the book in the YouTube video. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are the odds that I just picked this book up literally yesterday, and now I'm seeing it again. And it was the most random part in the podcast too. It's when you watch stuff, you're doing other things, I might be cleaning, or I might be doing something else and watching a video in the background, and it's the exact moment that I'm intently looking at the screen, they mention and pick up Untethered Soul and start talking about it. I'm just that's so cool. And another thing too, I'm traveling right now for an event that I'm speaking at a conference, and I've also been reading Psycho-Cybernetics, and I that book is not it's not like Think and Grow Rich. It's not a lot of people have read that book, even though it's pretty popular, but not many people. It's not like people hey, have you read Psycho-Cybernetics? Usually the big ones are The Art of Not Giving a Fuck, Think and Grow Rich, The Art of War, 48 Laws of Power, things like that. And so I was talking to this guy, and he was just mentioning that he loves to read. He's and he's yeah, I'm reading Psycho-Cybernetics right now. I'm shut up. I literally have that book in my suitcase upstairs. What are the odds of that? And it just reminded me that I'm on the right path. And like I said, sometimes we can get discouraged, because I don't know for y'all, but I'll just speak for myself. Sometimes when I'm, just going through this journey, I just feel a lot of inner resistance and a lot of inner fear. And the only way to move through that is to literally move through it and take action. And I talk a lot on here, when I feel like making a video or picking up my phone and recording myself, of course I'm going to talk about it, but doing things in theory and doing things in practice are two completely different things. So when I am in the moments where it's okay, do or die, change or stay the same, I do fail oftentimes, but I keep going. That's what matters. But I say all that to say, sometimes it can get discouraging, because you have these thoughts in your head. You're, if you're an overthinker, or if you have anxiety, or if you're, stepping out of your comfort zone social wise, it can be really, really difficult. And so noticing these little moments, and noticing just these little, it almost feels like clues, you're just given little clues throughout your day of people thinking on the same frequency, or resonating with the same message as you, or you start to notice things too, more within yourself and with others. And I've talked about it before, becoming more judgmental of others when you're going through your journey, or when you're trying to change, and you start projecting because you're taking a look inside. You're oh my gosh, this is messed up. What the heck? I'm thinking all these thoughts, I'm doing all these things, I feel terrible. How did I get here? I don't know how God, at least for me, this is how it felt. And so for a while, I feel I was projecting onto others, just oh, well, if I'm thinking like this, then other people must think like this too. And just kind of putting this unfair perspective and lens on the world, without even, just believing my perspective as the true one or the right one, when in reality, everybody's living their own, different lives, and they have different thoughts. And of course, there's billions and millions of people I don't really know, but yeah, it's just it's really cool to have these little clues, or have these little moments that are just super personal, and that even if you would explain it to somebody, nobody would really understand. If I explain, oh my gosh, I thought about a book and then I saw it, yeah, people get that. But when you are just super aware and the moment connects, it's I don't know, it's a really beautiful thing. And so I'm starting to notice it more lately. And the person actually that I was talking with too, they were just I was just talking about my experience, asking them questions, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? What do you think of the book? Self-image. And, he's just I was telling him a little bit about my story and hearing some of his, and he's just yeah, you gotta, everything that happens to me, like, or everything that goes on, I have a positive perspective about it. And like, you know, he's like, you really need to adopt that mindset. Like, you know, don't think that people are using you or that this world is cruel. Like I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt every time, and I'm gonna think in the positive scenario with everything that happens with me or around me or to me. And he's like, that's the main reason why I've been able to just like maintain and just have a good attitude. And of course, you know, you hear these things like all the time. They say it in the books, they say it in all the little pep talks and rallies about like the power of a positive mind, having a positive mindset, et cetera, et cetera. But it was just a beautiful reminder. And it was just in a moment that like I did not expect to happen. And that like, again, the little thread that like holds us all together through life that goes through each of us. It's like when you really sit down and talk with people, or when you're really open, or when you really, you know, say, you know what, I'm having these negative thoughts, or I'm like thinking these things, but I'm not gonna identify with it. Like I'm not gonna subject myself to like literally just tormenting myself mentally and thinking that I know what other people are thinking, or thinking that things are a certain way. Like I'm just gonna let go. And it just felt like a little release of pressure, like a little bit of a let go has led to just like a lot of really beautiful moments. So maybe I got sidetracked there a little bit, but it was a nice moment, and I'm glad that I had it, and I'm glad that I'm being more intentional again, like just recognizing like the little synchronicities in life, and like even from my phone, or even like just in little passing moments, and making conversations with people and talking with others. Like it's been fun, and I think it's something that I need more than I let it off to be. And this might have to be a different video, but you know, I've been in a little isolation era. Like even if I do go out or am around people, like I've definitely cut myself off to connecting, and just like been very low-key like dark and somber. And so whenever I have these moments, it like genuinely like almost brings a tear to my eye, but I have to like stop myself. I'm like, don't cry in front of these strangers, like don't cry in front of these people, like just chill. But it brings a tear to my eye because like I said, we're all connected, and we all are going through things and trying to become better people. Like we're all really trying. So my heart is like really open and raw, and I'm adjusting to how it feels, but I can say it does feel better than not feeling anything, or trying to not feel anything and forcing myself to not feel anything. So anyway, I went on multiple different directions, but hopefully if you did watch this video, you know, you could like relate to some of it, or, you know, if you have a story that you want to share about like noticing synchronicities or connecting with others in beautiful ways, I would love to hear it. Like I literally, this stuff is like actually giving me life and like giving me hope. So thank you guys for watching. If you did, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye.